All right, folks, we are good to go. Good morning. Welcome on back here. Brand new week here inside our live trading room. Brand new week here for you on YouTube, of course. What the hell's going on with this thing? This Octo trade is going crazy. It's already up over 1,000%. But for right now, folks, just really briefly, let me just introduce all of our students here inside our live trading room. Lawrence, Brian, Leda, Rich, got Bell, Grant, all of us just here. Debbie, who clocked out with like a really nice trade. Deborah B, one of our diamond students here at CTU, actually just reposting what she had shared with us just before. She got in this trade from like 10 bucks out of 15. So, kudos to her. Kudos to Phil. I saw him clean up pretty nicely on a couple of trades himself there, and a bunch of us at least here, right? So without further ado, let's hop right into the thick of it here. There's a lot of other trades we have to talk about from last week. Also, a couple more that were popping earlier today. Let me ask, who did not jump into this Octo trade? Obviously, you know who jumped in. If you're seeing the trading room, Chuck right there, closing out just one right here. Who did not jump into the Octo? Who did not jump in? Who did not enter? Who was not here? Or maybe, even if you were here, were you a bit skittish? Were you a bit hesitant? It's Monday morning, coming off a federal holiday, still kind of coming off Labor Day last week, right? Albert just woke up. Absolutely. Barbara, Jeff, Uday, Jim, Peter, a bunch of us did not jump into this stock. Why do I ask if you did not jump in? Because this is not the only stock out there. This is not the only fishy out there for you to try and reel in, right? In fact, this is really good if you did not jump in. This kind of opens up the door for all the other crazy stocks out there for all of us here. So give me a moment. I'm actually going to share this with all of us on social media. I reposted this just in our trading room just now, but let me see here. I wrote this first thing when I logged in at like 8:40 in the morning, just saying to all of our members here, hey, I say this for the people that missed out. This only opens the door for the rest of the other crazy stocks to break out, the insane asylum to break out, that is, at least over the course of this week. And, hey, if you missed out on this, no sweat. There might be something popping right now that's just making the 9 o'clock move even. So, did I jump into this trade? I actually did. We'll go over this in our workshop at least later on today. Where am I? There's my entry. Got it at 15:06. I'll go over what happened at least afterwards. I took a loss on a trade just before, at least. Another one, XAIR. Like we'd said before, there might be other stocks that look to break out the insane asylum here this morning. So, with that said, this tried to make the pop-up at least here. Right place, wrong time, maybe. We'll see if this could try and retest and then re-break over this area. Previous resistance that we just had from pre-market, 330-ish, 335, whatever the case is. But let me actually just jump back to this Octo, because the one thing I want to do, well, the two things I want to do, needless to be said, we're going to put this on our watch list to begin. But I want to break out the news here at least. Like, why was this stock even up as much? I'm trying to get it from our live trading room here. Give me a moment here. Bell, I'll repost at least what she wrote to us before. Rich, I'm sure you got it there too. But Octo announces $250 million private placement with an additional $20 million strategic investment from Bitmine to initiate the world's first WorldCoin treasury strategy. There's a lot to digest with this. First and foremost, what the hell is WorldCoin, right? If you're not as familiar with crypto, it's just basically another coin, another token. Most of them go to shit, but there's a few that go really nicely over the course of the time here. The major ones we're familiar with: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I'll toss Cardano in there. People probably won't like that, but whatever. Just to say, though, that Octo received a $250 million private placement. Okay, that sounds pretty good. That's a lot better than the number we were discussing in our live trading room, the 20 million on top. Listen, 20 million is nothing. 20 million is absolutely nothing. I don't care if this is a no-name company still. We've seen larger deals at least, right? Larger deals that the stocks don't move up 1,000% on, right? So the 20 million doesn't justify it, but I think like the cool fancy part about this is that it's from the company Bitmine, BMNR, and that's Tom Lee from Fundstrat. This stock had a huge pop just when they announced their own Ethereum strategy, treasury strategy for Ethereum, the number 2 crypto. This thing just took off, right? Ended up going from 5 over time to a high of like 160. So maybe it's a sympathy play in that sense, where it's the next Tom Lee play, from Bitmine. It's the next, big play that he's doing. So why not pump up over 1,000%? That could easily be part of it. Needless to be said, though, if you had missed out on this stock, I would not look to have as much confidence with this stock now up over 1,000% compared to earlier when it was up maybe 500% or 450%, right? So we know that every roller coaster has a top. We don't want to be on the top of the roller coaster looking down here. So there was a lot of risk with taking this trade even here when I jumped in. But going into the open, we're going to put this on our list. But if it just dumps off right away at the open, we're not going to be surprised. In fact, that will be kind of expected. Listen, what if you're an investor in from $4, $3? You wake up one magical morning, you're up 1,044%. I'd be taking the money and running at 200%, let alone 1,044. So, that's just what I wanted to mention there with the XAIR or with the Octo trade, pardon me. I don't have my caffeine in me yet. I was actually about to make coffee, and then I had to jump back to my desk because a couple of these trades were working out for me. So, I took a loss on this at least, but the other one treated me well. Now, the XAIR might be making the move I wanted just now. So we'll see if this could hold over pre-market resistance around 335, 330-ish here. Flip it cleanly into a support if you're looking for one last push before the open. There's definitely good reason and validation to see it. So I'll even just show you. These are just the two stocks I had on my screen early today, Octo and the XAIR. The heat map's a little rough. You got some resistance at 350, 370, $4. Now there's one kicking in here too for 335. This could be a little tough right before the opening bell. We're not trying to predict it perfectly, and I'm not jumping back in on this at least yet. We'll come back to it certainly after the open, certainly after the market opens up at least. It's still on a good trend. If it just gets choppy before the opening bell, that's something I'll be happy to miss. Let me actually break open Benzinga here. We'll see what the news is on this one as well. The XAIR. I don't really have that there from the trading room. So all right, what do we got? Got no news. No news for this stock. Last news report from August 12th. So, unless the Benzinga Pro is slacking, which they're normally really good on. We love them, of course. So, just saying that. But this might just be off of no news, off of no real reason or rhyme. So, I'd rather have news than to not have news. We've seen stocks pop without news before, but just be careful around this area before the opening bell. You might get a lower high. I'll come back to this trade if it wants to try and make that better push after 9:30. So I'll put this on our list at least. We got two good trades to start off on, the Octo and the XAIR. Real briefly, want to shout out a couple of our trial members just joining our room out for the week. If you're testing us out for this week here, I see Jeff W. in from Indiana. Hopefully you're a Butler Bulldog fan, Jeff. Or otherwise, if you're just joining us otherwise throughout this week, keep in mind Fausto, I think, should be in later on this morning. Fausto just had a doctor's appointment early today. He was even going to be back by 10 o'clock today. Probably give him a little time of traffic here in Long Island. So probably like 10:30, 11 o'clock, get Fausto backlogged inside our live trading room there. Now, we did have a couple of good trades that we called out from last week. So just to go over a couple of those briefly, and then we'll run down our watch list. The open trade, really, it's kind of a meme stock now. If you're on the internet, if you're on X, if you're on YouTube, you see everyone and their grandparents talking about it. So, this thing's made a pretty nice push up over time, and not just back from last week. We started off on this trade back from midway in July, like when it was breaking over $1 pretty much is when we had first focused on it. Very slow trade when it first made these green candles, but even they look good, but they're kind of slow. This became a much better trade, though, heading into the end of the month, heading into August time here as it was revving back up. Either way, it's tradable. Either way, it has good orders out there on the book, good spread, filled in order book there. So going into the market open, it's actually up over another 5% today from Friday. It's been a really good day trade, really good swing trade. No problem putting this back on our watch list here. What else did we get? You had the Soon trade. Now, this one I'm in on. You should see on the top right, I got my position manager always showing. These three stocks were from last week. The one I was really beating the drum on the most was the Soon, S-O-U-N. So this, at least, I took a loss on before I jumped back in. It was, wrong level, I reckon. I really wanted to have this resistance flip into a support. Didn't get it. It was actually right around here at the time. Right around here at the time. It was just from the last few days. So I took a loss off of that area, and then it actually pulled back same day to the next level, which I wasn't really expecting. But on the Soon chart, let me actually do this. There we go. 1270 we were calling out, right? So great support. If it's not going to hold previous resistance, then why not look for it here? So either way, we found our footing on the soon trade as a swing. We don't need to be perfect to make money, right? So either way, this is working out really well now, even from the end of last week. You can see how strong that 1270-ish area was. I'm going to put this back on our list, probably towards the back end of our list, though, for right now. Like the other trades a lot more in terms of like momentum for today, in terms of a day trade, perhaps. We love this as a swing trade still, and I'm going to stay in it. So that's that. BBAI goes with soon oftentimes. They're kind of brother sister stock. So I was looking for a bounce on this trade around the same time as the soon. I jumped in. I chased it a little bit. It's not on as much shares as I wanted to get in on. It's up a little bit today. I'm not going to put this on our main list just yet. Wouldn't shock me if this pops after the open at some point, but there's other fish to fry out here on our gainers list here today. We'll focus on the soon for now. The Bumble though, BMBL. This was more speculative. I was focused on this trade from a person I follow on social media myself on Twitter, and it was just kind of breaking a pretty strong downtrend line over time. A couple of them here back from 21 into 24. It was speculative play, but I'm up on it right now a little bit, just kind of explaining what's there in the corner right. Now, as far as the other trades that we ended up catching, at least, we did pretty well on a few others. The U trade from the end of last week. Just go over this pretty much, then we'll hop over the gainer side. But the U was a really nice play coming off this pre-market push early in the morning. It popped at the open, pulled back. That got a little disappointing there, but it ended up finding its footing, kind of like the open chart I just mentioned. Ended up pushing back up pretty well, ran up higher into the close. Looking pretty good here today, actually. I mean, it's not trading a whole lot of volume, I don't think. So I'll put this on our B list, on our side list for the open, but kind of interesting. It's up 1% or 1.5% from Friday. That's all. All right, so what we'll do is just go right from top to bottom here, folks. We'll go from top to bottom on our gainers and losers list. Sam on, oh, you got some news on Xair there, Sam? I appreciate that. Thanks. Xair, a subsidiary granted FDA orphan drug designation for brain tumor drug. Okay, that's good to know. Designations, that means it's like kind of in its like infancy stages for FDA approval. So we'll see where that takes it. But going into the open, checking back in on the Octo trade. Keep this on our watch list at least, but I'm not going to be surprised to see it get it halted to the downside right away. R-A-P-P, Rappaport, or Report Therapeutics. I'm thinking Ian Rappaport. But no, ended up making a nice breakout just here a moment ago prior to the 830 move. Interesting. I feel like this thing's going to have some pretty thin orders out there on the book if it runs. I'm not as jumpy to put that on our main list. I want something with a better spread, better liquidity. I don't know if we're going to catch that here right away. This stock forward, not F, like Ford. But talking about Ford, F-O-R-D, the ticker. Whatever happened here, a nice squeeze up, low float, low momentum, or low volume, I should say. A lot of momentum at first, but fizzled out pretty quick. I'd rather us focus on Xair. At least there's a news headline there. So there we go from Sam. Our, kind of lower highs here, but it's not breaking lower yet. Kind of teasing us. We'll put this on our list here. It's going to have some good orders out there on the book, hopefully, by the time the market opens. Good spread for now, so it should fill in pretty nicely. QS, nice move here at least. Actually, I'm going to put this number 2 on our watch list. I got to make Octo number 1 at least. It's the elephant in the room pretty much. It's the shiny object in the room. This QS though is probably the best trade that we could offer though. Great spread, nice push up from earlier. I was actually more focused on Octo after 830. Easily could have jumped in on this trade off of like 960-ish, 980-ish. Pull back here where it probably just hits support, slingshot back up. Nice move. So yeah, absolutely going to put the QS on our list. I'll tell you now, we've got ourselves a pretty nice list here at this point already. Let me actually just jack up my volume here if I need to, but LDI popping in front of us here, right? Nice cheap stock. Orders hopefully going to fill in here by the time the open hits, but looking pretty strong right now. LDI. Back to that Duo trade. Duo is actually looking pretty good. Nice move from Friday as we'd called out early in the morning, from 3 up to 4 pretty much. Clean dollar move. Holding higher here. I like it. The only issue with today now is that it's actually a good problem to have. I'm not bitching here when I say this, but it's just a good issue to have. With Octo, there's going to be all these crazy stocks that pop, so you just got to weed them out based on volume and spread. Just remember here, if you're a student of ours here, Fausto or myself in our classes, just remember there's a lot of shiny objects in the room. The number one thing that you need to focus on, it's the first thing that should come to mind, is volume. What does the order book look like? Does it have a tight spread? Does it have a lot of orders on the bid ask? Then from there, trend. So I know the graph is easy to see. This is like going up. All right, well, the spread's not awful here, which means that by the time the market opens up, at least, it should fill in a lot more. That's the hope, at least there. But see, like this thing is done. Sats, SATS, see ya. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more here now. We just got to like fish through this like a fine tooth comb. Hood. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Hood. How can we not talk about Hood, right? Right away, I got to put this on our list. So let me just do that. So Hood got included into the S&P 500, right? That's the big news that came out over Friday afternoon. Them and another company, APP. This one's obviously a lot more expensive, but huge news. I think there was like well-deserved from a long while ago for both of those trades, the app and the Hood. But we're a lot more familiar with Hood. We're going to put Hood, just on our list. We'll also add ROBN. It's the ETF, right? Hood ETF. So I have no problem just adding that as well. But this might be right back to all-time highs. Getting close. Might fill a gap first and then slingshot back up over time, over the week or two. So we'll see. But all-time high seems to be right around like 118, getting like close to that 120 even. So not there just yet, but really nice news off of the Hood trade. All right, what else we got here? Baba also doing really well. I saw the ETF BABX. So Alibaba has been crushing it. We've been, calling this out as a swing trade here and there off their move up from last week, from the 29th, even before Labor Day, but it just keeps going up and up and up and up. I think that we were discussing this as a swing trade thought and the sense of, all right, well, it's like just generally, as long as it stays over this, you're in really good shape. And it's just been kind of holding, pushing up higher and higher. So your next resistance that we had focused on was right around 146 or so here. Still had these lines up from last week's traders talk that we had. It might move up there over time. Might even be like later on today, later on this week. We'll see. But I'm not going to put this on our list, though, for now. I like the Hood trade if we're just focused on the more expensive stocks. MBOT, SLDP. Actually, this is going up a little bit here. Not bad. Open already on our list. UNG, or is this UNH? I'm sorry, not UNG. UNH. Obviously, UNH also pretty expensive, but you got an ETF there, UNHG, $18 ETF there, double leverage. So you know what? I don't mind actually putting that on the backside of our watch list here, kind of with the soon trade, just representing United Healthcare, but this is an ETF. Focus on the bookmap levels for the stock and not the ETF. If you're going to trade this, you need to be focused on UNH. Focus on UNH and the chart levels and the bookmap levels. But when your triggers hit for that trade, basically pull the trigger on this one. Just buy the UNHG. All right, let's go to the loser side at least here. It's already 9:20. Want to make sure our students here. Who else we got here inside our live trading room today? Got Tim, Alicia, Peter, Carlos joining us. Carlos killed it last week. Give him a big shout out as well. Bill, always great to see you, my friend. I got Lee and Russell here and Dave, Margaret joining us. So let me know if there's anything else that you'd want me to look at, folks, but got to make sure that you're prepped up here for the market open. Hop over to the loser side here. Is this the ASTS, Tim? I saw you said ASTS pushing. This is ASTX, which is an ASTS ETF. Yeah, this thing got clobbered early. What the hell happened to ASTS? I didn't even realize this was down. Obviously, there's so much out there to try and focus on, mainly from the gainer side. I actually didn't really look at this until here. I don't know. Benzinga's got to be slacking today. This is the second time they haven't posted news. Let me see. I don't really have any news here, folks. I'm sorry. There's got to be something that came out, maybe a downgrade from a firm or from a bank, whatever it may be, Deutsche Bank, Wells Fargo, whatever it may be. Maybe it's earnings related. But I wouldn't look to try and long this just yet. I'd wait closer towards 10:15, 10:30 in the morning. There's still a lot of selling pressure on this trade. Where is it trading right now? 37. Yeah, it broke below big support here. So if you're looking at a long term, you got to wait to see support get like solidified off a lower price. especially after the market opens up today. So could it be off previous high here, right around 39? We'll let that build up after the market opens. So I'll add it to our list, but I'd be pretty cautious on it at first. Let it prove itself to you if it wants to make that immediate bounce back up now. But you got to imagine that there's got to be people out there trying to cover short on a trade. And I'm saying that after the market opens, get out on options, trades if there's any out there. So, give that a little time. There it is, obviously number 4 on the losers list. But AT&T down a little bit there, not enough for me to really focus on it too much. SMMT kind of trash. All right, so folks, I think that's kind of it. I mean, not much else that I like from the loser side. That ASTS is pretty interesting. If there's anything else looking good, we got Nabil here. Who else joining us this morning? We got Glenn, Wayne, you got Alan, you got April, as I had mentioned her just before. Anna, you got some of the ladies here, of course. You got Lynn and Randy. You got Lynn at least there, and Roseanne and Randy, of course, too, of course, mentioning. Who else, folks? Anything else looking good on the gainer side, loser side, either way before we wrap up? We have Fausto back here just on the mic, probably around 10:30-ish, I'd imagine, or just back inside our live trading room, really at that point. Leda, always great to have you here joining us on the YouTube. She's one of our longtime students, so she always simulcasts with us each and every day inside our live trading room and, of course, on YouTube. But let's check out Benzinga Pro before we call it a wrap. Oh, there's scans working here now, too. Looks like the newsfeed was kind of lagging. ULY popping a little bit. CRV. Got a couple more trades here before we finish up. Yeah, give this a little time. Give this a little time here. I'm not a fan of this just yet. Same with this, sluggish. Maybe it pops, maybe it doesn't. Either way, we'll focus on something else first. The hour trade, I think we added this to our list at least. Yeah, we added the hour trade to our watch list. This one made the cut for now. But I think that's pretty much it, folks. I think we're good to go. Saying you sound here. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you, Lynn and Randy. Yeah, no, I had 3 teeth yanked from Thursday last week, wisdoms. So, some painkillers, some stitches, we're good to go pretty much, right? Can't trade on painkillers. I learned that. But otherwise, so we are good to go for this morning. But, folks, real quick. Got one of us here inside tech support real briefly. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Jeff. No problem at all. I see that you're talking to one of our educators right now, Rich. And then as well, you're going to be talking to one of our education advisors at least later on today. So as a trial member that's joining us this week, definitely be in tune coming up this morning because we have live audio commentary coming up in a few minutes. I do a live workshop at noon Eastern every single Monday. So coming back later on today at noon Eastern, I'll be back here doing a live workshop for you. But alongside that, you have full, service with our team. One of our education advisors will look to give you a call today. Give you a quick walkthrough, run you down as far as our website, the offerings to our trading room, everything involved here throughout your week. But hey, hope that you enjoy your time with us. We're always here if you have any questions. And hey, let me pop this up one more time before we finish here, at least. Got our live workshop, as I had mentioned before, at noon Eastern today. Traders Talk. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me over a quick email personally, josh@ctutrading.com. That's my handle. And again, if you're on YouTube, join us as well here on YouTube later on today for that. If you have any questions, shoot me over a quick email, josh@ctutrading.com. All right, folks. But, hey, best of luck going into the open, and we'll be back inside our room in just a bit. Take care.